Okay, so this is a little demo that shows you how to build a new page, okay, in an application, and make sure that when people leave this page without saving their changes, we warn them about it. You basically go about building a normal page just like you would go building any other page in ADF. So I just have a very simple ADF BC project here, and I'm dragging over the department, data control, putting it on the page. I can add a couple of buttons as well, the commit and rollback operations down here, and I'm actually going to add a couple of input text components to the page, and just to show you a couple of other points about the page behavior. Okay, so we're saving this and we're going to run this page. So when the page comes up, we can basically see information about department and things like that. Now, originally when I go in here and I change some value like that, okay, I can very easily go up here and just navigate to another page, and my transaction is basically not saved. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to warn people before they actually do something like that. So how would I go about doing it? It's very easy actually in ADF. All you need to go is go to your page, okay, and there's a tag here called AF document. And if you look at the properties of this tag, down here there's a property called uncommitted data warning, and you can simply turn it to on. Okay, save this thing, go back here, go back to our page and reload it. Okay, now with the changes, and now you can see that if I go and I change a value here, and then I go to the browser and, for example, I try to navigate to another page, I get this little message here saying, okay, there's some uncommitted data, do you want to save it or not? Okay, and in this case I'm going to select stay on this page, and now I can continue working. Now I want to cover one aspect here, is that the commit and rollback buttons are not actually enabled. So what is up with that? Let me explain to you why this is happening. If you actually look at the commit button, okay, there's a property here called disabled, and it's based on an expression language. Let's copy this value and actually assign it to this field. Okay, so we can actually see what the value is. I'm going to remove this thing from it like that. Okay, can go back and reload the page now with this change. Like that. So you can see that this value is actually false, and this is why the commit button is disabled. Okay, and until I actually change something and click submit, this button won't change its status, because in order to change it I actually need to go back to the server, tell him, okay, I changed something in my binding layer, you need to enable those buttons. How can I automate this? It's quite trivial actually. You can go to the location ID, okay, for example, and find a property called auto submit for this thing and enable it to true. Okay, so now whenever I go and change the location ID and leave the field, I'm auto submitting to the server, and then the commit button will become enabled. Okay, again, let's reload the page. Okay, you see it's false right now. I'm going to modify the value here. Okay, and I'm going to leave the field, and you can see that immediately when I left the field, this became true, and those two buttons are now enabled, and I can click rollback or commit. Okay, so let's do a rollback. One other aspect to see here is if you have other fields in your page, okay, like this field for example, which is not actually related to the binding layer, okay, and you modify this field, and then you go Google, okay, you still get this message of do you actually want to commit the data or not? Okay, so basically the property at the page level doesn't differentiate between regular fields and data-bound fields. This is different, however, for the actual commit and rollback property that we're using here. So if we actually take this field, okay, and enable auto submit on this one as well, okay, like that, save it and reload our page. Okay. Now if I actually modify this field and I basically leave this field like that, okay, you can see that those two buttons are still disabled even though it was auto submitted, because this one doesn't actually change the binding layer. Okay.